So, folks, we gotta talk about anti-trans bills. Or rather, one specific anti-trans bill. And, well, folks, sadly, an anti-trans bill has passed the House. This, of course, is the anti-trans bill introduced by Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it is to criminalize gender-affirming care for minors. And it was able to pass because Democrats voted for it. 3 Democrats, in fact, broke ranks to vote for this bill. And it's a bill that is, I would characterize it as obscene. It makes it illegal for medical institutions to provide gender-affirming care for minors. It also makes it illegal for parents to seek to provide gender-affirming care for their own children. It is disgusting for all intents and purposes. It is titled the Protect Children's Innocence Act, and according to Advocate, it would impose felony penalties of up to 10 years in prison on physicians who provide puberty blockers, hormone therapy, or surgical care to patients under 18. And of course, I imagine there's some kind of carve out in the bill that allows puberty blockers to be prescribed for the purpose of precocious puberty for cisgender children, just not for the trans kids. The bill would also expose parents and others who consent to help minors or help minors access that care to criminal liability. So anyone who might assist in a child getting gender affirming care would also be criminally liable and potentially go to prison for up to 10 years. This is where we're at. The bill passed with 216 votes in favor of it, 211 votes against. If those 3 Democrats had held the line and not voted for it, that bill would not have passed the House. Now, which 3 Democrats voted for this bill? Yeah, 4 Republicans broke ranks with their fellow GOP colleagues and voted against this bill, which made it possible for Democrats to block. The Democrats who broke ranks are, again, Texas Representatives Henry Cuellar and Vicente Gonzalez. Again, they also broke ranks on the bill to block bombings of boats in the Caribbean. And also, Representative Don Davis of North Carolina. So Don Davis, Vicente Gonzalez, and Henry Cuellar broke ranks with the other Democrats in order to, do this. It's disgusting. Now, luckily, as far as we know so far, this appears to be dead in the Senate, but I would really, really, really push folks, especially, you could do it tonight, call today, call tomorrow, and let your senators know not to support this. Yeah, it hasn't been voted on in the Senate, and it is not expected to pass the Senate, but for us to make sure, use your ability to organize and put pressure on elected officials to the extent you are able. So, call your senators and tell them to vote no on this bill. Tell them to vote no on the Protect Children's Innocence Act. One thing I will say, and I've been extraordinarily critical in the past of Representative Sarah McBride. I do want to say I appreciate her being in Congress just as an out trans person, specifically because I think her presence makes it harder to advocate in Congress against trans people. And she spoke out against this bill, so I figure let's take a look at what she said. All Republican politicians care about is making the rich richer and attacking trans people, McBride told reporters on the steps of the Capitol. They are obsessed with trans people. I actually think they think more about trans people than trans people think about trans people. They are consumed with this, and they are extreme on it. One bill introduced by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and passed Wednesday by the House would make it a felony punishable by up to a decade in prison for doctors to perform gender-affirming care on minors or for patients to consent to or facilitate such care for their kids. That includes reversible puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgeries. Let's see. Republicans, including President Donald Trump, have continued to campaign against gender-affirming medical care and pass bans in dozens of states across the country. Greene's bill had more than 40 Republican co-sponsors. Last week, Greene said in a post on X that House leadership promised her a vote on the legislation after she changed her vote from no to yes on the defense bill, which passed the House last week. Greene's bill is unlikely to pass the Senate, given that it would require Democrats' support. So here is hoping Democrats hold the line, but you gotta call them and let them know.
It must be difficult being a news organization that is pushing their recent diagnosis of MS as a core part of their new identity.
You know, Sake Tanuki, common misconception about the new name. It's actually designed to appeal to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a man who represents Nurgle's best interests here on Earth. And, or should I say, Holy Terra. You know, it's not pushing their recent diagnosis of MS. It's advocating for MS. More people should have MS. That's the purpose of the name change. Many people don't realize, and many people are saying. Marge really hates us? Yeah, of course she does. McBride said Greene's bill would put parents and providers at risk of being jailed, literally jailed, for affirming their trans children and following medical best practices. Yeah. The second bill House Republicans are slated to consider Thursday, that's today, introduced by Representative Dan Crenshaw of Texas and co-sponsored by Greene, would ban Medicaid from funding gender-affirming care for minors. 3 states already have such bans in place, according to the Movement Advancement Project. McBride charged that Republicans are trying to use transgender people as political pawns in this moment. They are trying to politicize a misunderstood community and misunderstood care. No one's health should be politicized. She also opened up about her own childhood struggles as a young person. One of the things that gets so lost in this conversation is that the transgender adults of today were kids once. I was a kid once. I didn't have the courage to come out until I was 21. And that means 21 years of pain, 21 years of unwavering homesickness that only went away when I was able to get the care that I needed. And my biggest regret in life is that I never had a childhood without that pain. And yeah. Gender affirming care is a way that we could actually not punish kids, not inflict suffering on children. And a lot of people don't get this. A lot of people don't get it. Pretty relatable. Exactly. You know, it's super relatable. And I just think that all of this hatred, and I am hoping, by the way, that this secondary bill gets voted down. I'm hopeful that perhaps Democrats will not join ranks with Republicans to deny all trans people of all ages Medicaid support and coverage. But I genuinely don't know. So call your representatives. Call your senators. Tell them to hold the line and support trans people. Okay? Almost all trans adults regret that they didn't come out and get care as kids, especially us from the Gen X era. Yeah, no, it's rough. It is rough knowing that you know, I guess I can't speak for all trans people, but I know I find myself thinking and wishing that I had not missed out on a decade plus of being myself. It can feel like you spent your life in a dark hole, you know? It can feel like you were not real. And it's really painful and it's really difficult and it feels really awful. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And Republicans want to not just take that away from some trans kids, they want to make every trans kid feel that pain. And it hurts. It hurts to know that they want that suffering to continue.
Why do the Democrats never fucking learn? Once you sell out one marginalized group, the next group next is on the table, and then the next. Opposition party, my asterisk asterisk asterisk.
Well, one thing to recognize is that the Democrats aren't in lockstep on this, right? Like, Henry Cuellar is basically a Republican, right? It's why Donald Trump thought he could give a pardon to Henry Cuellar and get him to actually change his Democrat status to a Republican status, right? Like, leave the Democratic Party. And so, like, the people who voted against trans people on this aren't like your milquetoast, middle of the road Dems. They're Democrats who feel like they have to cater to a very
According to
conservative
one
audience.
streamer circa 2019, they want you dead.
I mean, it's true. Like, conservatives do want trans people dead and gone. If they had their way, they would immediately press the button to kill us all. Thankfully, they can't do that. So, we persist. So, I believe Democrats, to an extent, and on some issues, are an opposition party. On this particular thing, it's not like the entire Democratic caucus went and voted against trans people. It was 3 people. 3 traitors. And I think that I don't know, it gives me hope that the Gavin Newsoms of the coalition, the centrists of the coalition, aren't the ones that are breaking on this issue. It's like the ultra-conservative Dems, who functionally should be Republicans. I've lost faith in the Dems? Then join your local Dems and make them better. You have a couple options. You either join your Dems and radicalize them to make them better, or you build an independent power block with your local DSA. Those are the 2 options you have, and it's best to do them both together so that you can coordinate. Like, I'm sorry we don't have a third party that is purely good politics. Like, I wished we had that so fucking badly. As a trans person, it fucking sucks every day to get fucking screwed over by Democrats. But it doesn't have to be that way. And, like, our alternative is beginning, like, a multi-decades-long project to build another party from the ground up. And I do not see the impulse, like the impetus, the impulse to actually make that party succeed. I'm sorry to say.
It feels like the fact that neither the House or Senate Dem leaders being able to bully members to hold the line means that all members are complicit by proxy.
I am supportive, Comrade Girl, of DSA's push to build political power. And as a long-term goal, I think it is great for DSA to try and build that power base to be one that can rival, the Democratic Party. But let us be 1000% real right now. It is not going to happen by 2026. And it's not going to happen by 2028. If it does happen, like, maybe by 2032, but that doesn't help us right now. And that's the issue that I am really struggling with when it comes to talk about third parties. It does not help us right now. Now, if we want to dedicate our time to building up that third party, I'm all for it. But what do we do about where we're in right now? We're in a hole and it's filling up with water. And, like, I'm all in favor of building, like, some kind of elevator apparatus to get us out of the hole, but it doesn't get us out of the hole right now. And if we don't get out of the hole, we're gonna drown. And so, like, I'm kind of like, yeah, yes, we are getting fucked over every which way. But how do we deal with that now? I would love a much better solution where we don't get fucked over all the time, but until we have that, we need to do something. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And it's frustrating because I don't know, do those kids have the luxury of us not getting involved now? Do we have the luxury of not getting involved with what the Dems are doing and, like, stopping their worst impulses now? Like, it's gonna be a multifaceted solution for this problem, but, like, people are hurting right now. So what do we do? And so that's why I say so often, radicalize your local Dems and make your DSA more effective. Because I think those 2 things are what we can do right now to build up our power for another day and to exert our influence in the here and now. I think we are able, by doing both those things, to pat our head and rub our tummy at the same time. So, anyway, that's where I'm at. Damn, Dragonfly, I didn't know that you founded a third party at some point in the past. Anyway, join your local Dems, radicalize them, join your local DSA, make it more effective. Dragonfly in our Discord will help you radicalize your local Dems. And as far as I know, far too few people have taken Dragonfly up on that offer. Please take her up on that offer and make your DSA more effective. Get involved. Join our Discord. Reach out to GamerG. Reach out to other members of the community to organize. We need to do it. It's not just a matter of like knowing the correct thing anymore. We have to protect each other. We have to provide for each other. We have to be there for one another. So
we're clearly not thinking big enough. We need to already be starting a fifth party years ago.
If we only are to have 3 parties, why not go big or go home with a 5th party instead? I agree. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I understand it's a deeply frustrating situation we're all in. And I don't have all the answers, but we need to do something. So, let's get to work with what we can do.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and switching streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, being flame more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.